Well, kia ora and no mai, haere mai, and welcome to Te Whanganui Atara and Wakefield Park for what is a salivating opening round Central League clash between two titans of Wellington football. Eyes would have been drawn to this matchup when the fixtures were released. 1 versus 2 from last season. Since the curtain came down on 2022, a lot has changed. Olympic have continued to strengthen so far, but we'll go to the Miramar lineup firsthand. And they have strengthened in some places under Cale Herbert. And it's a new look. Many players going elsewhere in the off-season, but big performance from last year. Andy Bevan and Sam Mason-Smith's services have been secured. A name that became prominent at Olympic has now joined the Blue and Blacks with Jonty Rubis lining up against his former side today. Seb Barton-Ginger leaving Wellington Phoenix for the midfield of Miramar. And Melville United players Luke Seal and Ryan Loris switching cities and slotting straight into the lineup. Canadian Andron Kagramanyan in number 15 will get his first taste of Central League football. And Japanese winger Ken Akamatsu will hope to make his first impact off the bench. Let's look at Olympic now, and the strength and depth is clear to see. It's been built on with the acquisition of Hamish Watson, the former Miramar Ranger and Golden Boot winner of the Central League last season. Brought into the side, he's joined by Joel Stevens in attack, who's returned from his stint in Sweden to the capital. Two former Wellington Phoenix men will be joined by the ever-dangerous Jack Henry Sinclair. Rogerson, another Ranger to make the switch to the Champions, will be joined by Joe Hopper, who will also make his competitive debut for the Greeks in defence. He'll be steered by captain Ben Mutter and Justin Gully. Tor Davenport-Peterson on the bench, suffering a knock in the playoff against Auckland last weekend, and opens a spot for youngster Tio Etema in the midfield. Caelan Gould also returns from Australia and finds himself a spot on the bench this week. Well, it's a decent day in Wellington, partly cloudy, but a strong nor'westerly blowing through the city that you might be able to pick up on the camera there. As both sides begin to shape up for kickoff. Miramar in their white strip, Olympic in their blue lagoon. The match officials for today, one just appearing on the screen there, Kelvin Berg will hold the whistle. We'll have Ashton Davenport and Alexander Dalberg to rely on the sidelines. Both sides settling into their shape and getting ready for kickoff. Kelvin Berg making sure captains and goalkeepers are both ready, looks at his watch. And away we go for Central League 2023. These two sides have already met this season already in the Hilton Petone Cup. Olympic taking that out 3-0 in the semi-final without a lot of their top players who were up in Auckland or out at Wakefield Park, or at Martin Lucky Park rather, for their playoff game against Auckland. So a strong showing there without some of their best players who are back on the pitch here today. And we'll get our first glimpse of what Miramar will look like under Cale Herbert as they look to mount an attack first up down this right-hand side. Seb Barton-Ginger not being able to latch on to that pass on the right-hand side there. And Scott Basile will get the game underway. That's Joe Hopper, who was just on the ball there, number 3 from North Wellington. Come across to the Greeks this season to provide more depth to this Wellington Olympic Championship winning side. Justin Gully there, number 5 out on left wing today, showing his strength there to try and push off Andy Bevan off the ball. It's cleared away by the ever-reliable Ben Mutter for Olympic. Jonty Rubis there just with a heavy touch. He'll be receiving some special attention from his former Olympic side. He did really cement himself in the National League team that took it all the way to the final. On the left-hand side, and that's Hamish Watson with his first touch on the ball. Raking ball out to Jack Henry Sinclair, who just can't tap it past the Miramar defence and Luke Seal. He gets the ball moving out to captain Sam Mason-Smith. Basilay just comes out to claim a difficult ball there. Sees the funny side of that. But I'm sure as this game goes on, and if it stays level, there won't be many smiles between these two sides. Olympic have already had a busy start to the season. Their 2 playoff games against Auckland City to try and make it into the AFC Champions League. Unfortunately, unable to hold on to a lead in that second leg, eventually going down to Auckland City. Disappointment for Rupert Kimmies, but he knew that the side weren't quite gelling just yet. With the likes of new acquisitions like Joel Stevens there, who was just on the ball. Here's another new one, Rogerson, playing it out to another new man, Hopper. Olympic just trying to settle the play. You can see Gavin Hoy there at number 23, just urging a bit of calm, not trying to force the issue early doors. Hoy also coming over from North Wellington along with Hopper to provide more attacking depth for the side. It's also a first taste of Central League action for the new turf, which has been laid over the summer months, or the winter months, should I say. Olympic having to switch their base out for the National League season, but they'll be happy to be home. The talk has been that it's been a good turf to play on, as we have Ryan Lawrence looking to get past Hopper here, but he does well to show his strength and just shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Lawrence will have to be stronger to get past the man who will be hoping to impress the fans in his first competitive matchup. Early touches for Tam DeMiro and Ben Mata. Just calming things down after a bit of a helter-skelter start. Gavin Hoy reaching in there to secure the ball. But now Rubis can get on the ball against his former club and see what he can do. He finds Lawrence out on the left-hand side. Checks back to Seal. Rubis playing in the middle. Sam Mason-Smith receiving the attention from Ben Mata. And Mason-Smith tries to get things going early, but Rubis wasn't aware. Could have been offside as well.
Watch the rotation, Luke, and go. Come down, yes, and go. Longer. Sixes down.
Long ball not working out, not being able to find Hamish Watson. I'm sure wouldn't mind putting a few past his former side today. He's already showed what he can do in those playoffs, making a couple of goals. He's known as one of the best strikers in the country. And a good replacement for Gianni Bazoukas in the off-season. understand tried his luck overseas. But we do have an inkling that he may be back in Olympic blue very soon, as Hopper looks to spread the ball out to Stevens, the former Wellington Phoenix man, looking to run. Tries to find Hoy, who does well to get it into the box and almost found an Olympic shirt in amongst the traffic of Miramar defenders who were back. Good chase there by Hoy to drag it back in. The men in blue looking more assured on the ball early on. Stevens looks to switch play. He finds Jack Henry Sinclair, who could shoot it to Groot, but it's saved well. Jack Henry Sinclair didn't have many options there. Hamish Watson didn't arrive in time. I don't think anybody expected to get him to get the ball, but such is the pace of Jack Henry Sinclair that he was able to pull it back in just before the byline, and fortunately shot straight at to Groot, who stood strong. But Olympic will have the corner. You can see from the Greek flags there how blustery it is down here, so it will require a bit of control. Looks like the goal's just not quite on the goal line. Important we get that fixed, and Stevens can deliver. It's a good one, almost finds Watson, but it's headed away by the Miramar defence. Gully can check back to DeMido, who sat on the halfway line. Hoy. Stevens stayed on the right after the corner. And Hoy just decides to reset to get things going. Hopper with a bit of space. The ball over the top, looks to find Jack Henry Sinclair, but even he's not quick enough to pull that one in. A word on Miramar, they have undergone a fair bit of a rebuild over the off-season. Scott Hales leaving the club, and Cale Herbert being appointed as the manager. He is the son of former Wellington Phoenix manager and all-white Ricky Herbert. Did move to Wairarapa United last season, but it didn't work out there with them pulling out of the Central League season. He popped up at Miramar Rangers as an assistant about this time last year. He's obviously impressed the hierarchy enough to be given the shot at a chance to coach the top men's side. He's got a challenge on his fan. First up is Jack Henry Sinclair. Looks to find a blue shirt in the middle, and it was teasing, but it was cleared away by the Miramar defence. Scott Midgley looking to get back there to clear it. Herbert says they are a different look side, a younger side. They want to play the same system that the club has instilled in past sides, but played with a different look and feel. Stevens looks to head it, and it is headed in, and it's the first goal. And it's Joe Hopper with a goal on debut for Olympic. It was too easy. He was unmarked in the middle. It was a perfect ball by Stevens in the wind, and he was unmarked. No one picked it up. And Hopper's ecstatic about that one to put Olympic 1-0 up just after 10 minutes in this Central League clash. Well, Herbert will be unhappy with the defending there. He was left to ghost into the box. Executed the header perfectly into the back post. So work to do already for this Miramar side, who have yet to really fashion a chance themselves. Well, you give Olympic that many corners, the amount of talent that they have in the box, they're bound to threaten the goal eventually. And Miramar have been made to pay. It's Mason Smith. They've immediately got the ball up into Olympic territory, so they'll be hoping to stay here and have a bit of time in the opposition half, which they haven't quite had just yet. Here's Mason Smith. Pass just not sticking. And Olympic can settle again, try and play their way out. Demiro finds Basile. Well, no way for Joe Hopper to make his start better than scoring a goal on debut. That will ease some nerves and allow him to play with a bit more ease. Olympic have given the ball away, and Hopper might have a bit of defending to do here, but the cross is not enough to trouble Basile, who immediately unleashes the Englishman down the right-hand side. Stevens looking to try find that ball in behind Miramar, and Hoy's pressed well and forced the error from the Miramar defence and has earned his side a corner. Another chance for Stevens to put the ball on a plate for someone. Hopper looking interested again, but it's a quick one. And the ball comes in and it's headed away, thankfully, and Mason Smith is back defending as well. And a handball eases the pressure. Herbert says they have had a good 6 weeks to start the season. He's got a lot of confidence in this group already. The year one goal is, of course, to qualify for that National League tournament later on in the year. Top 3 sides will progress on the table. However, if Wellington Phoenix do make that top 3, due to them having a guaranteed spot in the league, it will fall to the 4th place side. So that's the goal for Rangers this year. Lawrence with a bit of space, drive forward. Mason Smith riding the challenges. And Hopper's there. Searle will look to employ the long throw here into the box. Used sparingly by Melville United in the National League, so he's look for some greener pastures here in Miramar, and that's a big throw with the wind. The Olympic deal with it well, and now Stevens can hold the ball up and try and win the foul, which he does successfully from his fellow number 7, Ryan Lawrence. Just a bit too eager there. Centre-back Searle. There's a number of Hamilton players that have joined Cale Herbert. He was the coach of Hamilton Wanderers. The youngest coach in their history, guiding them to a playoff spot in the old ISPS Honda Premiership. So he'll be looking to do the same with this Miramar side. 15 minutes gone, 1-0 the score. Joe Hopper finding the back of the net through a towering header off a corner from Joel Stevenson, unmarked in the box. Able to settle the nerves for Wellington Olympic. The long ball looks to find Stevens, but it's dealt with well. Stevens just left a bit too much on his opposition number. And Miramar have secured a free kick to again ease the pressure on their back line, which is Had a fair bit to deal with early on. Here's Liam Wood looking to go long and find Jonty Rubis. But he can't. Sebastian Barton Ginger looking to make some inroads down that right-hand side, but his touch is just a bit too heavy and he's blocked off by the experienced Justin Gully. Ball falls safely for a goal kick. Here he is now on the ball, the 30-year-old. Myro finds Sinclair. Sinclair's ball just put Myro under a fair bit of pressure there. Mutter's forced to clear long. Hamish Watson there in number 9. Hasn't had too much action on the ball so far, but Miramar will know best of all that he doesn't need much of an opportunity to find the back of the net. Something for Liam Wood and Luke Seal to deal with. Hopper, he's had a lot of involvement early on. He loses the ball on this occasion. Miramar will be looking to break through Rubis. He's held the ball up well there under some heavy attention. Won his side a free kick. Here he is again, Rubis looking to thread the ball to Mason Smith. Can he slot it? He can! But he's offside. It won't count. Mason Smith thought he'd levelled it up. The flag raised on the far side. Cancelled it out. It was a lovely ball by Rubis. You see his hands on his head there. He thought it'd done damage to his former side. But that will be promising for Cale Herbert's men. They'll feel if they can do that once, surely they can do it again. Good bit of interplay and just pierced the two centre-backs of Wellington Olympic, who are looking now, and there's a couple of heavy challenges. Miramar making their feelings known after that goal being ruled out. Calvin Berg will have a fair bit to deal with today. You can imagine, might have been a bit of frustration being taken out on some blue shirts after that goal was disallowed. Hamish Watson and Joel Stevens both standing over the ball in conversation. De Groot looking for a 3-man wall. Looks like Stevens has been given his marching orders. And it'll be Watson. You can't imagine he's going to cross this ball in. He does have some tall timber to aim at, though, if he does want it. Ben Mutter in there, Teo Etema. But let's see what Hamish Watson can produce. Here he is now. He goes for the shot, but the wall's done its job, but it's fallen to the Olympic team. And the blocks are made by the Miramar side. Doing their job, the wall, deflecting it into the path of the Olympic side. They weren't able to make it count, and now Miramar can look to mount their attack. Martin Ginger finding Rubis in the middle, back to goal. Almost slips it through to Sam Mason Smith, but pass was too heavy. He looks busy in that central midfield role. Rubis does. And after that pass through to Mason Smith for that disallowed offside goal, Olympic will know he's a threat. Tomorrow.
Good, Andy, do the second set. Woody! Yes, go on, Seba. Go on, Seba. Good. Well done, John. Very nice.
Gully finds Stevens. Olympic with the majority of the possession so far in this one. DeGroot looking long, seeing who he can find instead of keeping it on the floor, but he's put it straight into the path of his former teammate, Josh Rogerson. Basile will look long, looking for a run of Hoy. Here's Hopper, wins the ball well, finds Hoy. Immediately looks back for Mata. Stevens slips the ball through to Watson, who's offside. Just straight in front of the defence there, and he'll be unhappy about that. Here's Andron Kagramanyan on the ball. Barton Ginger looks to have come out onto this left-hand side to see if he can provide a problem for Joe Hopper. Ryan Loris out on that right wing now. New assignment for Justin Gully. Miramar happy at this moment just to let Olympic play around at the back. Boy looking for his options forward, but decides to go back. Rogerson's got a handy ball out to Stevens, who can look to run. Twisting and turning. He's got to change of pace, this kid. And has he been fouled there? No, the ref says nothing doing. The ball hasn't gone out. Everybody switched off. Olympic almost made Miramar pay there. Stevens enjoying a fair bit of attention out on that left wing side. Olympic might have a chance here to put in a ball. Gavin Hoy, the man with the challenge. What's it like? It's at the front post. It almost falls to Watson. Etima's in the middle. Ben Mata. But he couldn't quite steer it inside that right-hand upright. A good chance for the Olympic captain, but was unable to force a save from DeGroot. Another promising attack for Olympic from a set piece. Miramar will be wanting to limit the fouls because at this stage they haven't dealt well with crosses into the area. The goal from Hopper was scored far too easily, and again there Ben Mata throwing his body around was able to get in front of his defenders and tried to direct his header into the net, but unable on this occasion. Scott Midgley on the ball here. Finds Andron Kagramanyan. Martin Ginger urged to chase. He just couldn't bring it under control, and it's deemed to have, whole ball's deemed to have gone out there. Hopper was convinced he wasn't playing to Barton Ginger's fake and Knew he had a throw for himself. Watson wins the header but couldn't find Sinclair. Looks to press now. Midgley couldn't find an option and settles for Kagramanian, who's deep in that midfield role. Here he is again, the Canadian. Manuel twisting and turning around. Kagramanian. Quick play from Olympic was almost unleashed. Hamish Watson there, and Sinclair makes up for his error and almost wins the ball back, but Miramar can push forward here through Bevan. He finds Roybus, back to Bevan. Roybus with the cheeky back heel. Bevan switches it out right. Looping ball into the back post. Barton Ginger now with his back to goal. Surrounded by Sinclair and Hopper, but he's done well to get past Hopper, and what ball can he put in? Basile with the claim there. Able to reach high. The Olympic custodian and prevent any header from challenging his net. But more promising there from Rangers as we approach the half an hour mark in this one. They do seem to do well when they get the ball to the feet of Roybus, and Andy Bevan are able to link up and get a few passes going in the centre. But Olympic will be happy to be back down this end of the field. Stevens looks to find Gully, but Lawrence just slipping there on the turf and his ball skewing out on the far side. Allowing Olympic to try regain position here. You see Olympic confident playing out from the back here. Not worried about the Miramar press. Happy to draw the foul in the midfield as well. Referee just unhappy with that ball was placed by Rogerson. A few metres back, please, sir. Mutter looking long. Looking for Watson, he's found him this time. It was a handy flick on header, and it's one for Hoy to put pressure on Midgley. He's done well, the Canadian. He's found Stevens. He looked to try and find Sinclair out on the right-hand side, but the ball just held up in the wind. And now Barton Ginger can gallop forward for Rangers. Bevan finds Roybus. Sees a bit of space. Rogerson puts his foot through it though. Can only find Midgley. Now Lawrence out on this right-hand side. Mason Smith. Pass just unable to find Barton Ginger, and Jack Henry Sinclair has space now. Almost flicks it past Seal. But a crucial intervention from the centre-back. Was able to stop the run. Manuel finds Kagramanian. Manuel. Mason Smith. His ball over the top, just a bit too much, but pressure from Lawrence has forced Gully into a mistake, and Miramar have won themselves a corner, which they want to take quickly. Mason Smith, the captain, calling for it. Here's Lawrence. What can he deliver? It's a big ball to the back post. He was looking to find Barton Ginger, who was running onto it, but Wasn't enough pace on it to beat Basilet, and he was able to claim another cross. Hopper gives Rogerson a bit of work to do. You can only lump it long, but Watson will gobble up the seconds. Look to hold off Barton Ginger, which he does with a bit of ease, but Searle does well to block the cross, and Rangers try to play out from the back here. Watson's deemed to have won it well and wins the foul from Barton Ginger. A few on the Miramar bench unhappy with that call there. They will have another chance to whip a set piece in, which they've proved to be dangerous from, and Rangers have found it hard to deal with. The referee just making sure Miramar were back 10. And it will be Sinclair to try and deliver the right ball in search of a second goal for Olympic. What's it like? It's to the front post. Almost falls to Hoy at the top of the box. This touch wasn't good enough, and Miramar's break is cut out by Gully. DeMiro. Taking up potentially a more comfortable position in midfield at the moment. Tam DeMiro, after a stint at centre back in the National League, as Jack Henry Sinclair proves to be a bother again for the defence. Couldn't quite get the ball down though at his feet. Here he is, DeMiro. Seamlessly slotted into that back three in that National League campaign. The likes of injuries to Ben Mata and Stevens just with a ball now, but wasn't anywhere near Watson and easy enough to clear for Rangers. Such as with this Olympic side, it seems when there's a hole, they're able to fill it. With the depth they've got in their squad now, I think they're going to be a tough task for anyone in the Central League. Luke Searle using that big throw again. Second ball won well by Gully. Olympic will look to just play it around the back again. Theo Etema, the 18-year-old on the ball. Was part of the under-20s side that received that late call-up to the tournament in Indonesia. Played 2 out of the 3 games. We'll be hoping to give Rupert Kenny a bit of thinking with toward Davenport Peterson on the bench. Today, after receiving a knock against Auckland City, received a fair bit of treatment in that game, so this is Etema's chance to shine. Miramar look long, but it's harmlessly defended well by Hopper, who just heads it back to Basilet. Rogerson looking to find Stevens. He has, whose lovely touch brings it down, and he hits the byline, puts the ball in. Just not enough on it to find Jack Henry Sinclair at the back post. Barton Ginger's got that space to run in. Left vacant by Jack Henry Sinclair. He's gone all the way to the other end of the field, and Ben Mata snuffs out the cross. from the former Wellington Phoenix midfielder. Here's Rubis. Miramar looking to get the play going quickly when they can. On the back foot a little bit here. Olympic looking to press defence, and he ends up all the way back at de Groot's feet. He can only find Demido. Chests it down well. That's good control. And Hopper finds Rogerson as they look to work it down this left-hand side again. Stevens up against his opposite number, and Lawrence twisting and turning. Decides nothing doing. Stevens returning from a stint overseas. He moved from Southern United over to Sweden. He's been playing in the 3rd tier, back after 3 years. Did of course have a few brief appearances at the Wellington Phoenix. And 3 all-whites caps. Here's Gavin Hoy. Looks to feed the ball through the Miramar defence, but can't quite be brought under control. Rangers doing well to clear, but ended up back at the feet of the Olympic defence, which has been a familiar story in the first 40 minutes of this one. Demido slotting into that right back position, allowing Hopper to get forward. Stevens playing the advantage, goes for the shot himself, but it's gobbled up by de Groot. And with a lurking Hamish Watson, he sunk down onto the ball, making sure it was going nowhere. Another dangerous attack from Stevens on that left-hand side. Here's Barton Ginger. Both sides trying to bring this ball down under control, and it's Rubis who ends up with it. Midgley doing well to bring it under control as the wind looks to take it out, but he's found Rubis, who's been busy in that midfield in this first half. Bevan enters the penalty area. It's it back to Lawrence, who lofts the ball up to Basile, who does well as it shifts in the wind and looks to unleash Sinclair, who's got plenty of space to run into. Receives the attention of 2 Miramar players and leaves the ball behind. Barton Ginger just trying to look long here. Want to force a mix-up between Mata and Basile, but those two have played together for long enough. You'd hope that wouldn't happen. And he easily gathers the ball and allows Olympic to get back to playing it along the turf. Gully. Demido.
Yes, good, Andy, here. Push him on.
Hopper. Hopper cutting inside. Not afraid to run into the midfield, and he creates a bit of space for Gully to plough into. He finds Stevens, looks for the byline again. Defended well by Lawrence, but only for a corner. 4 minutes to go before the half, and it goes without saying that Olympic would love a second to go into the sheds with. Stevens, what's his ball like? It's not great, but it does fall to Etimo, who turns and shoots, and it flies to the right-hand side of the goal. A good chance there for the 18-year-old Stevens' ball probably wasn't what he was looking for, but it did fall to the young man who was able to touch, turn and shoot. Couldn't get it on target. Group plays the ball well, and in here the Olympic bench unhappy with how easy it was for them to find Wood. Can Roybus conjure up something before the half break? Get his side back into this one. Midgley. Pass just wayward. Disappointment from Mason Smith clear, and it's relieved the pressure on Wellington Olympic. Watson. This touch having to be brought down by Hoy and was unable to control it. Being relatively quiet, Hamish Watson, probably for his liking. Martin Ginger's been busy. He thought he was fouled there by D'Amato, who hit the deck, but nothing given by Calvin Berg. And Hoy just decides to settle things down and get his defence on the ball. Here's Hopper with a bit of space to find Sinclair, who runs at the byline, and it's good defending by Searle. But he does give his team another challenge of another corner to deal with. Gavin Hoy happy to take this one. Ignores the run of Stevens, and what's his delivery like? It's not bad, but it's headed away strongly by Miramar. Falls to Sinclair, who looks to put it back in the mixer, but opts for Stevens. Hoy can now deliver. He chips it to the back post, but Itema just couldn't get onto the end of it. Will recollect. Gully with his ball in now. Headed away by Searle again. Stevens. Unable to find the space to shoot. Finds Rogerson. Sinclair, he'll deliver now. It's cleared away again. The barrage just before the break for Miramar to deal with. Looking to keep the lead just to 1. Olympic trying to keep the pressure on, but nothing on for Rogerson, so he plays back to D'Amato. Miramar holding firm so far. Hopper finds Stevens. Looks to put a first-time ball to Hoy. Can't find him. Roybus turns away from his defenders and gives a bit of space to Lawrence. His ball couldn't find Mason Smith. It was dealt with well by Mata, back to his keeper. We're over the allotted time now, and hasn't been too many stoppages. Long ball by Gully, almost finds Sinclair, and the referee points to the spot. De Groot collected Sinclair with his gloves on his head. A nasty challenge. De Groot pleading his case with the referee. No cards being shown just yet. It was a nasty collection.
Sorry, Scotty, I thought you saw my hands up.
And it's earned Olympic a penalty.
Keep looking over, I'm putting my hand up with the tie.
Not sure there can be many complaints about that. Looks like it will just be yellow for De Groot. It's good to see Jack Henry Sinclair sitting up. Here's the confirmation of the yellow card for De Groot. Sinclair able to just run through the defence there. Looked like an innocuous long ball. But as De Groot came out to punch, he collected Sinclair in the head. And referee Calvin Berg opting for a penalty. Big chance now for Wellington Olympic and captain Ben Mata to put his side 2-0 up into the break. The 18-year-old Jack de Groot, you could tell he was upset with the decision, but he needs to get his head in a space now where he can stop Ben Mata from putting the ball past him. Calvin Berg blows the whistle. Mata taking his time with this one. De Groot looking to make himself big. Here's Mata. He puts Olympic 2-0 up. He teased de Groot, made him dive, and put it straight down the middle past the 18-year-old. De Groot committed to the right-hand side, and it was easy for Ben Mata to choose the direction he wanted to go and put his side 2-0 up. You can't say they don't deserve it. They've been knocking on the door of Miramar's defence for the past 5 minutes, looking to add to their goal scored by Hopper. That won't be what Herbert's side wanted. And there is the half-time whistle. It would be the last act. Disappointment from Rangers after holding on for so long in that first half to just being 1 goal down. But a Joe Hopper header and a Ben Mata penalty is what separates these two sides. The opening round clash of this Central League competition.
If you send Gully out, then you shift and slide and get Joe to tuck in. Yeah. Those are the things we talk about up there. How do we pick them apart?
Back in, yeah? Switch back on, let's go. Straight in. Hey, go. Yeah, get ready. Let's go.
Well, welcome back to Wakefield Park for the second half of the Central League opening round clash between Wellington Olympic and Miramar Rangers. 2-0 the score. The sides separated by a hopper header and a Mata penalty just on the stroke of half time. As Gavin Hoy gets Wellington Olympic in blue back underway. Cale Herbert's had 15 minutes to try and change the fortunes of his Miramar side in his first Central League game in charge of a Wellington Miramar Rangers side. They're looking to start strong on the off. As Ryan Lawrence looks to try and run at the defence. He finds Rubus out on that right-hand side, but it's touch just lets him down again, trying to do a little bit too much on the ball there. Miramar did think that they were back in the game at 1-0 when Mason Smith went through on goal and calmly slotted it past Basile, but it was called for offside. And De Groot collected back Henry Sinclair just on half-time to earn himself a yellow card and give Olympic a penalty. We're now back on the ball now, and a strong challenge from the back puts Stevens on the ground in the box, but referee Calvin Berg says nothing doing. Stevens looks unhappy, to say the least. Believes he was fouled through the back by Scott Midgley. The first sign of trouble for Miramar Rangers again. Then Mata just going through the back there. Miramar have the chance to settle on some position in their attacking half. Doesn't look to be any changes to either side. That's a lovely turn by Barton Ginger, who's collected quite heavily there by Joe Hopper, who earns himself a yellow card to go with his goal on debut. It was a lovely turn by the former Wellington Phoenix player. He's earned himself the right after being collected there to put the ball in. Rangers will be hoping to make an immediate impact in this second half to get themselves back in this one. It was Miramar themselves that struggled to deal with the set pieces in the first half. What can they do there? Stiff breeze blowing across the pitch, so Barton Ginger will have to be strong. Floats it up into the middle. It's a good one, but it's dealt with well by the Olympic defence, and Hoy looks up and sees Stevens making a run behind Kagramanian. Was able to take the ball down and find De Groot. Was unable to save Ben Mata's penalty right on the stroke of half-time. There's Rubus. It's been a familiar pattern for him, but Miramar have given the ball away now, and Stevens is charging through into the penalty box. He puts it across, and De Groot is able to get his hands on it, and luckily there was no one lurking in the centre of the box, as they would have had a pretty easy tap in there, but Watson had gone for the back post. Hamish Watson, not a huge impact on this game first up, but both Wood and Searle will know they won't be able to take their eyes off him. Midgley finds Bevan. Just a stray pass straight into the feet of DeMiro. An easy giveaway, and chance now it looks for Olympic to cement their style back on this game. And an uncharacteristic rogue pass from Mata there sees them put themselves back under a little bit of pressure. Better start from Miramar in this first half. DeMiro just trying to create a bit of space for him, but he's given it straight to Barton Ginger, who goes past DeMiro. Mutters across to clean up. Couple of uncharacteristic errors there from Olympic. Slow to start in the second half. And Barton Ginger's looked lively down that left-hand side in the number 10 shirt. Miramar looking to use the big throw. Wind not taking it everywhere, but it falls to Mason Smith, who calls for the penalty. Lawrence is trying to wriggle away, but he couldn't get a shot away. And his cross falls to Etima, who's managed to clear it. But things to think about for Wellington Olympic. Despite being down to 10 million, they won't be impressed with leaking 5 goals against Auckland last week, so they will be hoping to shut up shop, and Basile, of all people, will be hoping to get a clean sheet. He did get 5 clean sheets last year in the Central League, so we're hoping to get a couple more. Gavin Hoy just unhappy with that call from Calvin Berg, really making his voice heard, and Berg gives him his yellow card and tells him what he thinks of the complaints. Not sure what Hoy's trying to achieve there. It's the Canadian's 3rd club. He's been a North Wellington player, a Napier City Rover. Made 15 appearances last season for North Wellington, banging in 5 goals. Group not opting for the long ball and deciding to get a touch for it. Etima does well to bring it down as it's held up in the wind. Miramar now striding forward. Lawrence. Gully dealing well. Lawrence trying not to commit a foul. It's gone the way of the Rangers team. Much to the complaints of Ben Mutter. Both players involved in the tussle there. Calvin Berg deemed it was Gully who put the foul in on Lawrence. And he's now got questions for the linesman. Another opportunity here for Miramar to deliver a ball. Barton Ginger over it. It was a good delivery last time. He'll be hoping for similar, but instead find a teammate in white. Mason Smith lurking on the 6-yard line. Referee just wanting a chat with Ben Mutter. Jonty Rubis has come to the top of the box. He's chipped over the top by Barton Ginger to the back post. Basile wasn't near it. DeMiro battling with Bevan in the corner there. And he's judged to have put it out. Bit of feeling early on in this one, and it looks like Joe Hopper's going to be given a break. Justin Gully moving on to the right-hand side, and DeMiro trudging out to the left. The substitute is now given the ability to come on, and it's going to be Tor Davenport Peterson to take up his position in the midfield. It's like DeMiro will slot in at the left-hand side of the defence. And now the dispute is over where the throw will be taken. Andy Bevan now stealing the ball back, finds Lawrence. Looked to thread the ball through to Mason Smith, but couldn't. Hamish Watson throwing his body about, trying to win a foul. Unable to. Gavin Hoyes now charging upfield and wins himself the foul. The leg was left in by Searle. Gully does have the chance to deliver here, but decides just to play back to Ben Mata. Myro's first touch in that left back position. Good debut for Joe Hopper. Headed goal. Now Sinclair's charging forward. Can he find Watson in the middle? He can. He's back to goal. Can he turn and shoot? Sinclair's on it now. And it's a great save by De Groot and clearance away by the Miramar defence. Just a crucial little touch there from De Groot. Looked to put it past the right-hand post. And a bit of afters here, and it has earned an Olympic player a yellow card. And excuse me, it looks like the foul's gone the other way. Yellow card shown to a Miramar defender, and Olympic have earned themselves a free kick just on the edge of the area. Well, that was a big chance for Sinclair to open his account this season in this Central League competition, but De Groot did well just to get that little touch on it to enable his defence to clear. Boy, looks to tee up Stevens. A crucial touch there by Miramar, and Manuel can now gallop forward. He's got Rubis to one side. Kagramanyan is able to keep it in. They lost their momentum there, Miramar. Midgley looks to find long Barton Ginger. Defended well by Gully, but only out for a corner. Momentum of that counter-attack just lost in the pass from Manuel. Kagramanyan doing well to bring it back in, but ultimately the attack broke down. Do have a corner now. Delivery's good. Searle couldn't direct it goalwards. Now Joel can contest. Joel Stevens can contest with Midgley. He's judged to have fouled him in the air. Message clear from the bench there. Stop complaining, get the ball back. As the temperature just rises a little bit in this one. Manuel looks to deliver. Mata high in the air. Sinclair finds Watson. Olympic breaking forward now. Hoy just checks back. Sinclair does the same. They didn't like what was on offer. Thought they'd reset. Tomato finds Watson. Davenport Peterson just losing out there, and Andy Bevan can stroll forward. Lawrence, who has looked lively down this right-hand side. Bevan Mason Smith. Roybus. Can he do? He's lost the ball to Stevens. Davenport Peterson. Well, it speaks to the depth of this Olympic side that they can bring a player like Davenport Peterson off the bench and into their midfield to just shore things up. I'm sure that yellow card that Hopper did get was on the minds of Rupert Kemi. And decided best to be safe and bring on some of their other quality. Good touchdown by Hoy. He looks to find Sinclair out on the right-hand side. He just couldn't reach it. Can he keep it in? He can. He puts his left boot in it. He finds Watson in the area, who takes it down and goes for the shot, and it's a good save by the Groot. The acrobatics from both players. Sees the ball go out for a corner. There's a high looping cross by Sinclair. Watson using all his experience and skill to direct that one on goal, but de Groot was up for the task. He's made a couple of very fine saves so far, keeping his side just 2-0 down. Stevens now over the ball. Mata! Well, he had the power, but no direction. Been Mata able to really put his foot through that one, but no real control. Stevens. Doing well just to hold the ball up. And a heavy bit of attention by Rangers. Davenport Peterson giving Gully a lot of work to do here as he's surrounded by about 4 Miramar players, and he does eventually earn the foul after receiving a bit of treatment. Looks like we will be having another substitution. Looks like it might be Gavin Hoy making his way off. And for Rangers, Ken Akamatsu there in number 23, making his debut. Man does have some good pedigree. He's been in the Swedish third tier from Niigata in Japan. Did play for the Colorado Rapids under 23 side and New Mexico United in the US outlet in the second division in the States. His club in Sweden, 30 appearances and 7 goals over the last couple of years. So we'll be able to get our first glimpse of him as he looks to take the ball off Justin Gully, but the ball's been flicked through to Hamish Watson, who collects de Groot as he comes through on the ball, and there's a bit of concern here for the young keeper, who was really collected by the full force of the big man that is Hamish Watson, who has earned himself a yellow card in the process. Jack de Groot did do well there coming out. Could see the danger in Hamish Watson running onto the ball, and it's good to see him sitting up here. Not sure many would come off better if they were taken by the full force of Hamish Watson. Doctor just checking he knows where he is. Looks like he will be able to continue de Groot. He's had a lot to do so far in this one. He's made a couple of crucial saves this half, and that was another piece of good work, but he did pay for it. It's good to see him up and moving again, and the game can get back underway. Looks like Caelan Gould has also come on for Olympic here. The red boots there. He will have replaced Gavin Hoy. He also put in a good shift. The Bulldog making his way back from Australia. He'll be a welcome re-addition back to the squad. He did score 9 goals in the Central League campaign of last season and then go on to score 3 and make 5 assists in the National League. In the number 10 jersey he is there. Hamish Watson must have snaked the 9 jersey whilst he was away. It's Miramar make their way into the Olympics half again. Trying to mount another attack. Searle is up there after not opting for the long throw. Gould just selling Davenport Peterson a bit short there, but he was able to regather. Did well to win the ball again, and Basile can put his foot through it. Try and find Watson up top. Climbed over by Liam Wood. But Sinclair's got some space in front of him. And is looking to find Watson, but the ball's just too far. Crosses just not sticking so far this half. Davenport Peterson's on the ball and Gould has a bit of space. Oh, he looks to flick it through to Hamish Watson, who just acknowledges the pass. I think he was on his heels there. Gould had a bit of space to shoot himself, but opted for the small ball into the feet of Watson. But number 9 just on his haunches. Miramar look to transition now. Here's Akamatsu. First chance to see what he can do on the ball. Manuel. Midgley. Manuel finds Rubis there, but Mason Smith couldn't find Rubis. Had made a nice little run into the box. An Olympic looking to speed the play up, but can't get the pass to stick. Here's Rubis, who's moved out. It's Akamatsu, or rather, Rubis. Apologies. 23 and 24, hard to distinguish between. Rubis has made his way out onto that right-hand side now. Into a wing roll, and Caelan Gould has a bit of space here now. Itima finds Stevens out on the left. He's managed to get a ball out to the back post, and it's come off the post from a Sinclair header. I think a lot of the players switched off, thought it was going too far, but Sinclair was alert. His header into the ground just bounced off the post there. Another opportunity for Olympic. Stevens was just able to cross the ball far too easily there, and he's got him past Midgley again. Here's Gould. Links back up with Stevens. Here's the shot from far. A deflection as well, but de Groot was aware of where it was going. It went straight to him in the end. Looked like Davenport Peterson put his foot through that one. Here's Gould again on the ball, twisting, turning, riding the challenges, and Liam Wood puts his hand up and acknowledges that he caught Gould late there. In a really good position now for Wellington Olympic to try and fashion a chance from. This is the problem when you're tired, when you've been trying to mark Hamish Watson all day and then a change is made and they bring on Caelan Gould. It's not an easy thing to deal with. Plenty of Wellington Olympic players keen on this one, but Davenport Peterson's submitted and he'll find himself in the box. Stevens still standing over it. Watson with a long run up. We'll find out who it's going to be. Looks like Stevens. Curled it round the wall, but straight into the breadbasket of Jack de Groot, who was aware. This pass out just couldn't start a Miramar attack. It was a good free kick from Stevens, but didn't really make de Groot work. He was able to sight it early and collect it quite comfortably. It's Gould. Davenport Peterson. Demido now operating out on this left-hand side. Davenport Peterson uses his body well after that ball's just a little bit too short, and Muta's able to find Stevenson out on this left-hand side. Itima with loads of time in the centre. As we approach we're into the 70 minutes. 20 minutes to go in this one. And Gould now on the edge of the area, making his way into the box. Can he fashion a shot? Itima can. It's a tame one, and Gould, the rebound falls to. He smokes it into the head of the defenders, and it's somehow fallen back to him. And Stevens now. A good last-ditch effort from Midgley to prevent the cross coming in. Ball bouncing around at the top of the box. Rangers unable to deal with it, and Olympic unable to get it into the back of the net. We'll have another opportunity here from a set piece. Stevens crosses low, doesn't find a blue shirt. Gully's just happy to see that one out. Throw not finding Sinclair. Now Miramar looking to play their way out. Mason Smith coming deep. Manuel finds Akamatsu. Gets it to his captain, Mason Smith. Manuel spots Barton Ginger on that left-hand side. Gets past Gully. Can he score? He hits the post. Well, it done everything right, Barton Ginger. Had used his strength to get past Gully. The touch was class. But the shot just cannoned off the upright. A good chance there for Miramar again. He's looked lively down the left-hand side, looked probably their most likely. For Miramar, Barton Ginger has. It's provided a fair bit of thought for Justin Gully. Gould checking back. Can't get past Manuel. And a kick out from Mason Smith there. It's very clear the intention there, and earns himself a yellow card for that one on Caelan Gould. Itima looks unfazed by the attention being shown by each players, and Gould looks okay to carry on. Mason Smith just getting a talking to there by Calvin Berg. And so too is Ben Mutter. Now Olympic can get back on the ball with Stevens out on this left-hand side. Mido checks back, and now they'll build again. Rogerson believes he's spotted Stevens on a run, but unable to bring it under control. And Basile looks long. Looks to find Sinclair in that higher position. Lovely bit of play there in midfield. Bevan just checks back and wants the play in front of him. Seal looks long. It almost looked to be a bit of heart-and-mouth moments there for Olympic as Demido headed back to Basile, but Mason Smith couldn't latch on to that one. In the end, it was pretty comfortable. Andy Bevan winning the ball off Gully and finds Bart and Ginger. Akamatsu stretches to keep the ball in, but does eventually find the touchline. Olympic easily getting out of that one. Not too much pressure from Miramar there. Crisp passing, able to unlock the door of their press. The ball was a waste and Miramar can now build. With less than 15 minutes to go, they need to score soon if they're going to get themselves back in this one, Rangers. Bevan checks back to Midgley. Doesn't like what he sees and finds Liam Wood. Wood looks long. The flick on here wasn't good enough and Manuel fouls Itima. Davenport Peterson just gives everyone the calm down signal. Looks to find Gould to start the attack. Here he is, Davenport Peterson. Itima, he looks pretty unfazed, the 18-year-old in midfield, although a bit complacent there, and he's lost the ball. Miramar gallop forward now. Midgley cuts inside and finds himself in space. Akamatsu with the layoff. Midgley just putting the first-time ball to Bart and Ginger, who was trying to reach out to get it, but legs weren't long enough. Looks like we've got another change here. Cale Herbert just trying to tinker with his side to try and find them a goal and a way back into this one. Once it becomes apparent, we'll give you those changes. Meanwhile, it's Manuel on the ball. Finds Barton Ginger, looks to deliver. Can't find a white shirt, falls to Manuel. Here's Rubis, twisting and turning as he has been all game. Manuel goes for the delivery, looks for the back post. Demaro's there to clean up. It's number 17, Jake Harris, who's entered the fray. Can't miss him with those long locks. Here's Gould, just looking to find the ball. Goes over the top to try get the ball to Sinclair, but it's read well. Davenport Peterson snuffing that pass out. And here's Gould again. It's been busy since he's come on. Stevens looking to go past Midgley, who offers him his right foot, but can't find the pass to Davenport Peterson. And Gould can't either. Now Mason Smith looks to gallop forward. Here's Rubis. Chance to run at his former captain, Ben Mata. He finds Akamatsu, who finds himself some space. He's brought down by Rogerson, and the referee has no choice but to point to the spot. With just 9 minutes to go in this one, Miramar have a way back. Well, it was great play by Jonty Rubis against his former side to weave his way into the box. He was a good turn from the Japanese man, Akamatsu. And Rogerson was left with no choice but to bring him down and concede the penalty. And it's going to be the captain, Mason Smith, to step up against Scott Basile to try get his side back in this one. Referee Berg blows his whistle. Mason Smith takes his time and puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. Miramar have a way back. He was calm, composed, much like the first penalty. Basile dived early and Mason Smith was able to pick his spot. And now this makes the closing minutes of this one a lot more interesting. Olympic will be ruining some of those missed chances they've had. And there'll be a spring in the step of this Rangers side. Can they get another one? Liam Wood leading from the back. Roibus with a lovely touch, or that was Akamatsu rather, with the lovely touch to Roibus, but he was offside. It's like Theo Esima's been called off. And Olympic will look to shore up that midfield and shore up that lead. Will be Sam Matrakis to replace him in that centre midfield. 10 Central League appearances last season. Made a couple in the National League as well. Another young player in this Olympic side. There in the 19 jersey, contesting in the air with Akamatsu, who finds Rubis, who can run at his former side. The diving challenge there. Just gives Berg the opportunity to tell the players to calm down. Not sure many of them are listening though. The diving challenge was deemed too dangerous and hasn't stopped Midgley going in for another one on Demaito there. Jake Harris, substitute, former Tony FC player, also former Hamilton Wanderer. Just 5 minutes to go in this one. Plenty of time for Miramar to find an equaliser. They'll be looking to that when Mason Smith for it. Heavy challenge there. Really diving in. You can see what it means to these players as Mason Smith just uses his body incorrectly. Bit of a push there. Just allows Olympic to try and get back on the ball. Mata doesn't want anything to do with it and pumps it upfield. Cleared by Manuel. Only to Demaido. Matrakis with his first touches on the ball. Good ball to Stevens. Just looks to run it into the corner. Finds Gould. Olympic will be happy to have possession right now, but that's a stray pass from Demaido and gives Rangers the opportunity to mount an attack. Wood knowing they need to keep the possession. There to find another goal and find an equaliser. Harris looks down the line. Only finds Demaido. Davenport Peterson puts it back to his keeper. He'll look long as well. Falls to the feet of Watson. Gully gives the ball away. Now Harris looks to find Midgley, whose touch isn't good enough, and the group comes out and claims. Now Barton Ginger finds himself in a bit of space, but not many options to pass to. No foul on Justin Gully there. Until Berg finds one on Jack Henry Sinclair. Just 2 minutes to go now. Miramar will be hoping for one last chance. Olympic have done well to just try control these last 5 minutes and not allow Rangers a sniff. Davenport Peterson in no rush. Finds the Caelan Gould with the ball, who's just unable to control it, and now Miramar can break. Rubis just held on to the ball for too long and then held on to the shirt of Davenport Peterson. And he really needed to release the ball quicker there, Rubis. And then the foul has enabled Olympic to just waste some more seconds. As we head into the final minute of normal time. Basile finds Sinclair on the right-hand side. Can he fashion a chance for his side? It's a good delivery. We're unsure what's going on here. Hamish Watson complaining that his shirt was pulled. Looks like the referee's given a penalty. If we're led to believe the actions of the players, Watson claiming he was being held by Liam Wood, and the referee agreed and has given an opportunity now for Wellington Olympic to seal this one. Looks like Akamatsu earned himself a yellow card with his complaints there as well. Now Ben Mata has his second penalty of the game. De Groot unable to stop it the first time. What's he got this time? Mata steps up and easily slots it into the right-hand corner and salutes his fans as Olympic take a 3-1 lead into the final seconds of this one and put the game to bed. The calmness of the captain, De Groot again showed his cards, and Mata was left with the easy option of just placing it into the back of the net. Well, Miramar will be disappointed with that. They seemed to have a sniff just in these closing stages. But Hamish Watson was deemed to be held in the box. Calvin Berg pointed to the spot. A very professional performance from Olympic in these last stages since the penalty. Rangers haven't really had an opportunity to try and find that equaliser until that penalty. It looks like they're going to take their first 3 points of the season here. Midgley, who's fought hard all game, is still there. Finds Barton Ginger, who enters the box. Can only find the side netting. As the seconds wind down, Basile will look to pump this long. We can't be too far away from the final whistle here. Calvin Berg with the whistle in his mouth. Still only a foul. There's still a few to play in this one. Rangers showing signs of some promising play under Cale Herbert. Looking organised, and Jack Henry Sinclair just earning his side another free kick. He's received some attention today. He won't be too happy, you'd think, with his own display. He's caused them headaches, but it's not often the man's not either on the score sheet or providing an assist. Caelan Gould able to deliver one in. Sinclair is in the box. What can he do? Finds Watson, who touches well. Davenport Peterson, it's a scramble in the box. Watson comes to it. It's deemed a foul by the striker. His shot ultimately going harmlessly wide. He's been unable to bulge the net against his former side, but he has had an impact winning that penalty. Here he is again, just holding the ball up well. Looking to try and wind down the clock. Davenport Peterson providing some flair at the end. Sinclair looks to find someone at the back post, but Stevens isn't there, but he does collect it, he puts it in. Davenport Peterson couldn't quite steer it into goal. De Groot scrambles to collect to prevent his side going 3 goals down. And the pressure is well and truly off the Olympic side since that penalty. And that's the final whistle by Calvin Berg. Wellington Olympic take their first 3 points of the campaign at home against their always fierce opponents, Miramar Rangers, under Cale Herbert this season. 2 penalties to Ben Mata and an early goal by Joe Hopper from a corner saw them take a 3-1 win over Miramar Rangers. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be bringing you plenty more action of the Central League campaign as the season goes on.
What up, Tor?